Can you talk about how Rebelle has evolved from the first version until now?
Sure. Before the first Rebelle version was released, Peter was working on the watercolor simulation for more than 2 years, experimenting with various approaches. So that was the most turbulent time for Rebelle's fluid engine. Then we used this engine prototype and all the building blocks we already had for Flame Painter. And this gave us a very good starting point for the first Rebelle release.
In the first version, there were just 5 brush presets available, and it was mainly focused on watercolors. Later, we introduced Brush Creator for advanced control of brush behavior, and we expanded the range of tools to oils with impasto, and also more natural dry media, which allowed us to introduce Rebelle to a broader audience. These additions required more changes in the Rebelle's brush engine.
Later on, we've added other features like watercolor dripping, pixel with OpenGL rendering, or pigment color mixing, which was developed by our friends at Secret Weapons, Sharka and Ondra. These features often required many attempts and trying out different strategies until we found one that was viable. This means that the core of Rebelle has seen much greater number of changes over the years than those that are visible in the final release versions.
So we've prepared also some interesting statistics about Rebelle's code. The first version of Rebelle had about 120,000 lines of code. This number of lines increased 5 times till now, and if we would have printed it on paper, it would be 6 kilometers long or 4 miles. We've released 107 versions of Rebelle with various updates and features. And there were 5,600 fixes, which mostly happened before public releases.
What tools or programming languages power Rebelle under the hood?
Currently, we are using C++ for our backend and Qt framework for our graphical user interface. This has been the backbone of Rebelle since the beginning, allowing us to build a powerful and flexible application. C++ provides the performance and control necessary for handling complex painting and fluid simulation algorithms, while Qt offers a cross-platform solution for crafting our user interface, and it also allows us to customize it. We also use many other libraries, and we are really grateful to the open source community for making them available.
How do you balance realism versus performance?
We want to provide our users with a smooth and responsive painting experience while delivering outstanding visuals. So of course, finding the right balance is extremely important for us. Development of our features often starts with research and experiments involving the real tools that we want to implement into Rebelle and seeing how they behave. Then we try to transform our observations into code. After we are happy with the visuals we achieved, we finish up the process by optimizing our work, which I very much enjoy. For example, we are using vectorization and multi-threading to make sure it runs even on a machine that has seen every single Rebelle version to date, which is Peter's over 10 years old computer that he used to develop very first versions.
What was the biggest technical hurdle in the early stages of development?
I'd say that most of the time we struggle with the realism versus performance balance Paolo was speaking about. I could mention one good example of it. In the early days before the first release, when Peter was experimenting with the watercolor simulation, we saw that painting was too slow for a good painting experience. So we were even thinking about abandoning the whole project at that time. At that time, simulation and painting were running concurrently. Then Peter came to me with the idea that we could actually pause the watercolor simulation while painting and use the full CPU power just for the painting itself. At that time, we were not sure how this would work out, but after some time, it turned out that it made the painting experience even more controllable for users. So in this case, we just needed to look at the problem from a different perspective. Or to mention a more recent hurdle, A lot of our users ask us about an iPad version of Rebelle. So our code base was built for desktops first, thus we had to make many significant changes in our code already in order to prepare it for mobile platforms. There's still a lot to do, but I'd like to assure our users that it's quite a high priority for us, and we plan to work on it after the Rebelle 8 release. So during the years, there were many technical hurdles we had to deal with, but no matter how difficult they seemed at the beginning, we almost always solved them somehow. Then gradually we came to the mindset of not worrying too much about difficulties we come across, and because we will most probably solve them eventually. Sometimes all it needs is just to find a different perspective.
Were there any happy accidents, features, or design elements that emerged unexpectedly but turned out to be great?
I think that there was one bug that artists found useful. When you're in the middle of an oil stroke, you can actually change its color. This is kind of a feature that emerged unexpectedly, and we never fixed it. And then we developed dirty brushes based on it.
We are often amazed by our users who use Rebelle tools or combine them in new creative ways we haven't even imagined before.
Was there any bug that haunted you in your sleep?
While I can't say any bug truly haunted my sleep, there have certainly been a fair share of tricky issues, especially concerning tablet devices, either with touch gestures or pen input. The challenge lies in the diverse ecosystem of hardware and drivers. Over the years, we've implemented multiple APIs, including Windows Ink, WinTap, and Windows Pointer Input, to ensure the best possible experience for our users.
Some bugs may take longer to get fixed, mainly when they are difficult to reproduce, but I have to mention how grateful we are to our users for sending us bug and crash reports and helping us finding clues for reproducing those bugs and fixing them eventually.
Now let's talk a bit about some features or innovations coming to Rebelle 8.
While studying oil paintings, I discovered new possibilities that could also be applied to Rebelle. This led to a brand new oil material based not only on the new nanopixel, but also on real textures, which were extracted from actual oil paintings. Material realism also requires realistic shadows, so I created an innovative ray tracing solution for Rebelle that brings real-time soft shadows for much deeper impasto effect.
For Rebelle 8, we wanted to improve our painting engine, especially oil brushes, but soon ran into limitations of our old system that we weren't quite able to overcome. So we set ourselves a goal to create an entirely new engine from scratch that would allow us to better emulate these tools. We were experimenting and observing the behavior of real brushes and oil paints and tried different approaches. We found out that the only way to get the flexibility and variability we want is to simulate each individual brush bristle. The result is that artists can expect not only realistic brushes, but surprisingly also better performance. This feature took us about 1 year to develop.
Do you envision Rebelle expanding into new platforms or technologies?
Yes, we are always looking to the future. Our primary focus for expansion is definitely mobile platforms. We see immense potential in bringing Rebelle's unique painting experience to a wider audience on devices like tablets. However, there's still some work to be done before we can make that leap. A key area is refining our user experience for mobile platforms, ensuring it feels intuitive and natural on smart screens and touch-first devices. Last year, we undertook a significant refactoring of our code base, which was a crucial step in preparing for future expansion.
To me, Rebelle's expansion into the movie industry was really unexpected. It was thanks to Pav Grochola from Sony Imageworks who reached out to us about his vision of using Rebelle for watercolor effects in the Spider-Verse movie he was working on. Then Rebelle Motion IO was born from this cooperation. So in this case, Rebelle expanded to the movie industry even without us envisioning it. It's still quite difficult to use for non-programmers, but one of our users is working on a Blender plugin that would make it actually usable even for artists.
What features or accomplishments are you most proud of introducing during these 10 years?
I feel like we have to mention our brush engine, as over the years it has become very powerful and full of great features. It allows us and our users to create and enjoy a wide range of tools, ranging from palette knives to pencils.
We were thinking about how to push Rebelle's visuals to the next level, moving from pixelated rendering to new generation. Peter gave me a free hand, and that's when I came up with NanoPixel. Today every user knows what it is. NanoPixel not only scales paintings in real time, but also adds microscopic detail to the papers. They are real fibers scanned directly from actual papers. Now we are using NanoPixel everywhere. We've applied the same technology to scaling, transformations, and the liquify tool. To avoid confusing users, we call it the fractal image processing, but the foundation is the same. Time flies, and I've developed a newer, better version of NanoPixel for Rebelle 8. It's much sharper and allows us to export paintings at much higher sizes.
I would probably mention keyboard shortcuts. I believe it's a feature used on a daily basis, and I worked on it already in Rebelle 1. I also spend a lot of time on support for tablet devices, which I believe is a crucial feature for painting applications like Rebelle.
To me, the most valuable thing is the whole team behind Rebelle. We've been working together for so many years, and we went through so many challenges, and this all wouldn't be possible without each and every one of us. I would like to especially mention Veronika and Alžbeta from support, Samuel and Marek from graphics and social media, Jarko and Mikola from web, and developers Gabo, Tono, Rastio, Tomáš, Jožo, Martin and Matúš, and others who worked with us over the years. And of course Peter, with his vision, experiments and guidance for all of us.
No toto chcem natočiť, takéto pekné, ako sa smejú.
Toto tam musíme dať.